That shit you can feel. Woman, good night. Yeah.
I'm just going to do a quick little video on how to disassemble a starter for an SR20DET engine. This is the starter. I've already begun, and behind me you'll see I have the KA24DE starter. So the first thing you'll need to do is disassemble these top two bolts. 1, 2. Those are both hex head bolts. You can do that with a simple 8mm socket. Next, you'll need to remove this bolt, and those can be disassembled with a 10mm socket. Alright, this is the fun part. So now everything is going to try and fall out of the starter as we get to disassembling it. I'm going to have to do a very good job of keeping track of everything. I don't know if you can tell, but there are quite a few parts. This is the KA starter. There are 3 gears, if you will. I don't know the technical name for those. There is a single ball bearing, and the solenoid, which you just watched me unscrew, 2 bolts, and then some miscellaneous parts, and then the teeth for the actual starter gear. Cool, so now it's loose. I moved the towel out of the way, and now I get to do my best at keeping track of everything. Be very observant and watch for loose parts. Here we go. You know what, I'm going to remove this top bolt, which is attached to the, I believe this is a grounding wire. I could be wrong about that, but I'm going to remove this nut and separate these 2 pieces from each other. I'm going to do that with a 12mm socket. Alright, I don't know why, but for some reason that seemed to help out. So now I can remove the 2 parts. This is similar to the one that I disassembled previously. Notice those gears inside of it, and you see the toothed gear on the motor unit. I imagine this is somewhat of an electrical component. I do not know. I've never actually gotten into this piece, but clearly this is mechanical. You got those 3 gears, and I don't see any of the ball bearing pieces in there, so that's good. Maybe this system doesn't have it. I know they are a little bit different. This unit pops out to start the engine. Ooh, that's pretty. I like watching that. That'll be the intro. That's really cool. Wow. Cool. So we got this part off. Now we're going to set that aside. We don't need that right now. What we're worried about is this thing. So I don't know if the solenoid on this is bad or not, but that's got to come off. So it looks like if I pry it backward and lift up slightly. Oh, never mind. It is... Aha! It did come off. See in there? There's somewhat of a, I don't know, like a trigger almost of sorts. And then there's a groove cut out here. So you can see how those fit together. So anyway, you got to do a motion that's something similar to back, up, and out. So solenoid, I don't think is any good. So again, set that off to the side. What we're worried about is this body, because for my purpose anyway, I am not rebuilding this one. I am swapping the internals from the KA stuff to put in here. So let's figure out what I got to do to take the rest of this apart, shall we? I have a hunch that this was my problem. Just out of curiosity, I went and tried to turn it by hand. I cannot get this to budge. So I tried the other one. This is the SR. This is the KA. It's not great. I'm going to probably open this up and try to grease some things, or at least figure it out. But this one does move. This one does not move at all. That might be the problem. Okay, so now we're right about here, and we're working on how to get this out. So if you pull up on this outer ring, notice that all the gears are falling off. I don't think it's important which way they go because they are symmetrical, at least from what I can tell. Probably a good idea to keep track of them, but since I won't be reusing these, I don't really care. Ta-da! I figured out what the trigger does. So I'm going to pull up on this in that direction. Watch the bottom here. So this is usually retracted, but as soon as I pull up on the thing, it goes up. It's a terrible example, but take my word for it. That's what it does. I may be wrong about this part, but when in doubt, hit it with a hammer, right? So I'm going to use a mallet here, and I think that this entire silver section is going to slide out of this sleeve, if you will. Let's find out. What do you know? I was right. So in here, we've got quite a few parts. I don't want to miss them or lose them or anything, but I can see a part of that trigger assembly. So that is this horseshoe looking piece here. And then I've got the gear. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up and out. So there's that. And what's left is this trigger assembly. I'm going to bring it out. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave that in there so that I don't lose it. And then there's this rubber piece, which is a spacer, and I don't see a reason to take that out right now. So I got what I came for. This part is useful for me because I think I'm going to need to reuse this. This part I'm certainly going to need to reuse. And from here, I guess I will part with you and let you do your thing. Good luck with whatever purpose you have for disassembling your SR20DET starter. Drive safe, and as always, have fun. Thanks for watching.